Hello everyone, this is Scarzig and welcome back to another episode of Budget Hero. Today we are actually going to be focusing on Abyssian. I do have a quest I need to knock out and I figured we'd go over some of the crafting options that I have set up here. Let's see. I do know what changes I want to make already, so let's go ahead and get those crafted. We're going to be playing Lilith over Cassava, of course. Shadow Creep is still a really good deck type. It's just that usually it runs on Shadow Sister Kaleno, which is kind of hard to get as a new player, and a few cards like that if you want to run Obliterate or Ghost Azalea as your big finishers. I've seen there probably is some budget varieties that just probably rely on maybe Abyssal Juggernaut or something, but you can generate Shadow Creep. It's just that you don't get those big end-game Shadow Creep finishers that you'd really like. So we're just going to go this route because, again, it is a bit cheaper, and this will get you by as Abyssian, and if you want to focus on this faction, these cards that we're crafting will still be pretty decent overall. It's just that the two archetypes use such vastly different card pools overall that if you're crafting for one, you can't really craft for the other, unfortunately. But we'll go over this for now. Maybe later down the road I'll tackle some budget Shadow Creep. But we do want 2 copies of Ritual Banishing. This is a rare card. What's really good about this card I like in Lilith is it's 3 mana. You destroy one of your minions to destroy an opponent's minion. Lilith gets to make 2 Wraithlings for 1 mana. So for 4 mana combined, you get to destroy an enemy minion and you still end up with a Wraithling. Whereas Dark Transformation is 5 mana, destroy an enemy minion, and then you get a Wraithling. So you're saving mana, and Ritual Banishing lets you get 2 Death Watch triggers, which is really useful for this deck type. We do want a couple Blood Moon Priestesses. You probably could get away with crafting 3 of these, but we're just going to go with 2 for now. And then these are like really solid if they can, get established on the board and start to spiral out of control. Really hard for your opponent to deal with outside of hard removal, like say Phoenix Fire, because when they're trying to kill all the Wraithlings, right, to get at the Blood Moon Priestess to actually kill it, the Wraithlings are just continuously respawning, so it's really hard to get at them without any sort of ranged helping you out there. So we're going to get 2 copies of Shadow Dancer. This sort of is maybe a lower budget version of Shadow Sister Kaleno. You could probably get the sort of the same effect, right? Because if you were to suicide a Wraithling into a unit, Shadow Sister Kaleno is still going to heal you for 1 because an enemy took damage. But Shadow Dancer also deals 1 damage to the opponent, so it sort of increases your burst. It's like the Four Winds Magi of this faction, where that extra ping is going to allow you to get a lot more damage than you usually would be able to. Let me see what else is on the shopping list here. Shadow Dancer, Blood Moon Priestess, Ritual Banishing. For Abyssian, we're going to go a little bit of a special case. I want to craft Jaxi, actually, because it is still pretty decent, and it is a common card. Lower on the ladder, your opponent can't deal with it super well, and maybe you'll be able to get a removal out of them. But let's see. Cut those. Maybe a Repulsor Beast. Ephemeral Shroud has actually just been nerfed via the new patch. It's now a 1/1 instead of a 2/2 because the developers wanted to emphasize its Dispel effect and not really have it as a body. Abyssian doesn't necessarily mind having 1/1s on the board, right? Because they just like to spawn a lot of stuff. And Abyssian really appreciates having the Dispel. So we're going to keep those in. And we'll see how that goes. You could probably cut these and maybe just go like... You'd be going all in, basically. If your opponent plays anything that you can't rightly deal with, then you'll just auto-lose, unfortunately. Let's see, so we cut the Dark Transformation, don't need the Bright Moss Golems, maybe cut the Necroseers. Alright, so we're putting in the Jaxies, and we are going to be putting in the Ritual Banishings that we crafted. We'll be putting in the Blood Moon Priestesses that we crafted, the Shadow Dancer. Primus Fist is a really good option for this deck. It allows your Wraithlings to trade up. You can also use it to buff your Jaxies, mini Jaxes, so you get some nice ranged damage there. What else do we want to throw in? I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, Dancing Blades. We want to make room for Dancing Blades. What should we cut? Maybe cut a Wraithling Swarm? And... maybe cut down to just one Ephemeral Shroud? And we just have it as backup? No, we'll cut a Demonic Lore. That way we can keep it an Ephemeral Shroud, and then we've got room for the Dancing Blades. Okay, I like the way this deck is looking. Let's give her another daily challenge. I actually completed the daily challenge before I started this recording, so I guess it just rolled over. So, you know, time zone's OP. But let's hop right into the ladder and try out this Abyssian deck. Again, we only need to play a handful of games to get our quest gold. And if they come out as wins, then good for us. You get extra gold for consecutive wins and your first win of the day, stuff like that. So going first here, having a Demonic Lore is nice utility. And keeping the Primus Shield Master is pretty cool too, because we can just ramp up to 4 mana next turn. And, you know, having the Primus Fist is also good. So I think the dream is just to replace one Demonic Lore, and then that way we might get another 2-drop, and we can go double 2-drop opening. Ah, excellent. So let's see what our opponent does turn 1. Pardon me. If they play something with 1 attack, then I might even play the Saberspine Tiger. That way, when I summon it and it attacks, if it can survive, that's another 3 damage that my opponent has to find place for. And it almost lets you double dip on the Tiger. One of the options I did have for this deck was possibly including Shadow Reflection, so that Saberspine Tiger has a lot of utility for bursting our opponent down. But because we went with Blood Moon Priestess Shadow Dancer, we kind of get that Swarm win condition. If you wanted to, you could probably take out the Soul Shatter packs, or maybe cut 1 Dancing Blade and maybe something else to make room for a couple Shadow Reflections, because those are common cards too. So it feels like sort of a waste to use a Demonic Lore to kill this, because I kind of want these for utility. So I think what we'll do is just go with our double 2-drop opening. Now normally what he'd probably want to do is just ramp up. If he didn't have a 4-drop and he was just going to play a strong 3-drop, he could trade the Blood Tier Alchemist and then his General into the Primus Fist, say, but because I summon the Healing Mystic in front, it kind of boxes him out and lets me take easier control of the center. And now that I'm going up to 4 mana next turn, I can drop the Primus Shield Master, get him locked down, maybe get the Blood Moon Priestess developed afterward. Ooh, Hailstone Golem, that's a really good option. So what I could do is maybe develop the Blood Moon Priestess, kill the Blood Tier Alchemist, and then just have this Hailstone Golem body block. And that way I'll have the Blood Moon Priestess sitting here waiting to get some damage in. The only way he'd be able to counter that as Abyssian is if he Demonic Lord it and then hit it with his General. Because I could also go Blood Moon Priestess and then hit, but then, you know, the Hailstone Golem's eating 2/2-drops for free. And then, you know, I'm taking 4 damage with my General to deal that 6. Yeah, so I think we'll take a defensive stance here. we want to summon the Blood Moon Priestess in a safe spot. We'll have Healing Mystic take this damage for us. And then the Primus Fist will just body block. Alright, I like that a lot. And again, we have really good utility in our hand still. What's kind of nice about this is he needs to go through my forces to get at this Blood Moon Priestess. And as he's wading through my 2-drops, I'll start getting more Wraithlings, and then I can trade the Wraithlings into the Hailstone Golem to sort of wipe that out, and then I'm getting more Wraithlings off of it. So we'll see how he deals with this. He is at 5 mana. I could have maybe... I should have actually played the Blood Moon Priestess down here so that it's out of range of Saberspine Tiger. Actually, no, because he could move the Hailstone Golem, summon here. So if I would have put the Blood Moon Priestess here and then had the Primus Fist move up to this location, then let me see. No, it still lets him through. So I would have just not needed to move these units at all, actually. To kind of plug up that hole, I guess. But it looks like he doesn't have it, so that's fortunate for us. Because I could have played this in a better position. Playing it up here lets me be a bit greedier with the Wraithling spawns. Yeah, see, he's just putting threats down, but because of Blood Moon Priestess, I can just hit these guys and get my my Wraithlings going. I can also develop the Shadow Watcher here, and then just, you know, force him to deal with that. So I think that's what I'll do. I can develop a Shadow Watcher, throw down some Shadow Spawn, get the 2 Wraithlings, and then just start to trading. And frankly here, because of this positioning, I'm just going to take out the Thorn Needler. I could also do Saberspine Tiger 1 Wraithling to take this out. And then take out the Hailstone Golem. That actually feels a lot better. Develop a Shadow Watcher, use the Saberspine Tiger. Yeah, so we'll go with that. Where do I want to put this, though? Maybe here? Oh, what the hell? I didn't have enough mana. Wow. For some reason, I just completely... Yeah, because I didn't have 6 mana. That's why I went with the original play. Derp. But anyway, I'm taking forever for my turn. And... what the heck? It didn't let me... I had time on the rope. I took forever on my turn because I was thinking about it, but I had time for that Shadow Spawn. That was kind of BS. I think that's been a glitch lately, where the rope has been ending a few seconds earlier than the visual indicator says. Ooh, he actually has to take out the Shadow Watcher instead of using the Hailstone Golem to take out the Blood Moon Priestess, because if I had time, I would have Shadow Watcher, then move the Blood Moon Priestess down. Because I wanted to keep her in this square as long as possible so I can get a lot more possible Wraithling spawns, and then move her back here if I needed to. But you now see I have my Wraithling army going. I can possibly replace into a Shadow Dancer, and then that's when the fun really begins. We've got the Blood Moon Priestess getting infinite Wraithlings generated, and then the Shadow Dancer just pinging my opponent down. And then that's how you get the... This is like Abyssian's original battle plan, right? Was to get like this engine started up, and then they would just like spiral out of control and burn you down. Overwhelm you with so many Wraithlings. Oh, so he does get to take out the Blood Moon Priestess. That's fine. Because he used a lot of resources to take those 2 out. And now I actually have the option to play the Dancing Blades, first of all. And then start closing this gap here. And I'll take 1 damage to save a Wraithling. I think that's pretty smart. And now we start closing the distance. I think I can go ahead and replace the Demonic Lore, because I have all these Wraithlings to take care of threats for me, as well as the Dancing Blades. I want to start fishing for a Shadow Dancer or Soul Shatter Pact. Excellent, excellent. So here in the next couple turns, I think that he might be cornered. These Wraithlings, right, are going to lose to AoE. Ghost Lightning, Songhai's Ghost Lightning. Everybody has access to Blistering Scorn, which does 1 damage to everything. So, you know, getting a lot of Wraithlings like this is going to be very uncommon, but having those Blood Moon Priestesses developed is really key, because when your Wraithlings get hit by AoE, then, you know, the Blood Moon Priestess is going to respawn most of them. You know, up to 8 Wraithlings, so that's really good. So, 1, 2, 3, I've got Soul Shatter Pact. Saberspine Tiger lets me deal with this. It's funny too, because as soon as I replace the Demonic Lore, he just goes, fine, I'll drop 1 really big body and there's nothing you can do about it. 3. I was hoping. See, I have so many outs in this situation, but I can go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to take out the Storm Metal Golem. That does use up a lot of my resources. That's really unfortunate that I have to trade so many Wraithlings in and I don't get a payoff for it. I'm not like getting Shadow Dancer pings or anything like that. And I guess we just move up, let this last Wraithling finish off. And this is one of the other things too with Abyssian. You have so many units that you need to move that sometimes you start to run out of time. So it's like I have board advantage, but Wraithlings are more like, you know, they're fodder for powering up your other things. So, you know, the Wraithlings are just going to trade in on, I need to get additional value off of these bodies to actually become a threat. It's basically like I have Primus, Shieldmaster, Dancing Blades, and then like another 2-drop. I don't have a real board. Whoa, Mind Warper. Gain a copy of a random spell from your opponent's action bar. Haven't seen this in a while. It's so hard to use because you just never know what your opponent's going to have in hand. I guess if you're going up against Songhai a lot, you might be able to steal something cheeky, but it's like, if you're behind, you know what I mean? You're putting 4 mana down to maybe get you a spell that gets you out of the situation, but then you need mana to cast the spell that you steal. And if you're ahead, you can just develop something more threatening than Mind Warper. So let's see here. We'll replace the Ephemeral Shroud, Primus Fist. Okay, so let's see. Soul Shatter Pact. We've got +2 to everybody. So that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So if he didn't have that for the Dancing Blades, then I definitely would have been able to take him out there. So I think what we're going to do is just cut off his options here. And you saw what I did is I used the Shadow Spawn before I destroyed this Wraithling, so that these two were forced to spawn here, and then I summoned the Gloom Chaser in this corner so the Wraithling is forced to spawn here. What this gets us is a nice, almost full surround. This cuts off a lot of his options for summoning. He can't even use his Shadow Spawn. He would only get 1 Wraithling out of it instead of 2. So he's going to need another Demonic Lore here to move the Primus Shieldmaster. Or, you know, if he goes Shadow Spawn, Ritual Banishing. See, this worked for him the last time, where I was kind of closing in and he developed something that was so big that I didn't want to let it live. So I traded a lot of my resources into that Storm Metal Golem. But because now I have him basically full surrounded, I can ignore the Thorn Needler and Purgatos, the Realm Keeper. Demonic Lore has still kept Dancing Blades out of the fight. But let's see what I can do here. With Soul Shatter Pact, we've got 3, 6, 9. I'm pretty sure this is lethal. I'm not even going to waste my time crunching the numbers. Yeah, this has got to be lethal. Yeah, that's enough. I just made everything attack. So we got pretty fortunate there because our opponent was Abyssian as well, and Abyssian doesn't have the AoE, right? As Lilith, I have seen some Lilith actually running Blistering Scorn because you can use it to keep your opponent in check while you get the perfect hand set up to get your Wraithling engine going. And once you have the Blood Moon Priestess out, you know, killing your own Wraithlings with the Blistering Scorn isn't as bad because you get them right back. Using the Blistering Scorn to kill your own Wraithlings also allows you to kill them if they aren't in range of the fight, they don't have anything to trade into, and then you can power up your Soul Grimoire or your, oh god, what's that other one? Soul Shatter. No, not Soul Shatter Pact. Deathfire Crescendo is the other one, where it gives your, it gives either your general or your minions additional stats depending on how many things die. And those can really spiral out of control, but they're really expensive, so we're just going for the poor man's version. Kind of like this hand setup, honestly, because I can go turn 1 Healing Mystic, ramp into Blood Moon Priestess, or ramp into Primus Shield Master, then get Blood Moon Priestess maybe with a Wraithling Swarm thrown in. Truth be told, I probably should have fished and maybe got a demonic, tried to get a demonic lore. Because versus Lionar, you need the demonic lore to keep the provokers off of you. And we are already at 20 minutes. That last game took a pretty long time. So we might have to cut it after this. But hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of what... what's the word I'm looking for? What direction you want to go for your Abyssian deck. Ooh, into slow. I honestly don't mind that much in True Strike. So that's really clever. It makes it so that the Healing Mystic would trade. And now I'm getting punished for replacing that other Healing Mystic because I could have healed him and then bada boom, bada bing. But at the very least... maybe we replace Blood Moon for now. Primus Fist. I can one-shot, but that doesn't really help me. Either way. Yeah, I guess I gotta do this. Because I'm provoked by 2 units, I can choose which one I still want to hit. So we're just gonna... yeah, we're just gonna kill the slow. And... get the Wraithlings developed. I want to block that mana tile at least, or if he wants to leave these alone, if he gets greedy and goes up this way towards this mana, then I can do that. I was tempted to use the Ephemeral Shroud there, truthfully, on the Silverguard Knight, but if you dispel a Silverguard Knight, it's still a 1/5, so it just slays Wraithlings, right? So that's really not the point. We want to use Ephemeral Shroud on perhaps Ironcliffe Guardian if that demonic lore doesn't come to us. Another Silverguard Knight. Hmm. Alright. So we will Primus Fist our Wraithling. I could have actually summoned all three of those Wraithlings in a really defensive spot, but I've sort of maybe delayed him getting that mana for another turn. Allows me to make use of it. Then we will finish off this Silverguard Knight. I don't necessarily mind taking this damage. And then we will... Then just get some stuff developed. Those spawns are decent. Against, you know, a small swarm like this, my opponent's not going to want to use Holy Immolation on it, right? We do fear Tempest in this matchup. This is pretty rough in general. Lilith, because they rely on developing a board, and they're so susceptible to AoE, like denying your battle plans, you really have to put a lot of alternate win conditions in your deck. So I think that the Shadow Reflections in the deck to combo with the Saberspine Tigers are probably the way to go, quite frankly. Because I haven't even seen a Shadow Dancer yet. And you really don't want 3 of them because they cost 5 mana and they're pretty hard to deal with. Well, I should say pretty hard to play correctly. Alright, so we are going to Demonic Lore, get that out of the way. And then we can kill this second Silverguard Knight. And then moving here gives us enough mana to play the Primus Shieldmaster. And we want to keep the Gloom Chaser alive. Maybe get some death fodder, I think. So I suppose we'll move it here, make it a bit safer, but you know, he still has a slow Holy Immolation combo, perhaps. And I really do want to keep holding on to the Dancing Blades, just because if you can kill a 3-drop or like a Windblade Adept or something with it, that's going to get really big value for us. Ah, great. Yeah, and dealing 3 damage to the Suntide Maiden is huge. Jaxi. Dang. I can trade the Primus. I can use the Dancing Blades and trade the Primus Shieldmaster to take out the Suntide Maiden, and I think that that's what I might need to do because I don't have enough mana to go Dancing Blades Ephemeral Shroud. I could dispel that buff because he'll be able to reconnect with the second sun. But I do have the Ephemeral Shroud for that, so I think that that's going to be the play. So hopefully we get good Wraithling spawns to kind of body block that a little bit. Nice. So now he can't move through here to reconnect with the second sun for another turn. And we have Ritual Banishing, which is really useful. I think in my budget Lionar deck, I did include Tempest, sort of as a workaround for the lack of Holy Immolation, and as a way to deal with Swarm like this. But I would really like to see a Shadow Dancer or a Blood Moon Priestess, you know what I mean? Because if you can get those developed, then it just makes games so easy. It forces your opponent to deal with them, but then they have to wade through a sea of Wraithlings to get at everything. Right now, I've just been sort of parrying back and forth while I search for those cards. developing the Jaxi might be pretty nice too, because a ranged minion kind of, Ooh, so this is pretty cool. He used the Lucent Beam on this Wraithling so that he can move through, reconnect with the second sun, and so he can one-shot the Dancing Blade. So he only has one card left in hand. Oh, and he plays it, Purgatos Realmkeeper. Okay, so this is actually pretty good for us. I can actually Ritual Banishing to kill the second sun. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And then I can dispel the Ephemeral Shroud. Excuse me, dispel the Purgatos. I'm going to kill this. And then we get the Jaxi. This is actually pretty rough for me. What I should have done is maybe replace the Jaxi. Well, no, because I would need to dispel the Purgatos and play the Ritual Banishing on that turn. Grove Lion. Yikes. He actually made a mistake playing the Grove Lion after. He took an extra damage he didn't need to do. But this is a real problem for us, honestly. Because now he can just hit anything he wants for free. The Primary Shield Master dies for free. Which is kind of troublesome as well. And I'm wondering if I want to just play this. I think I'll just play it defensively. Out of the range of the Grove Lion at the very least. Until I figure out a way to deal with it. Because he can roar this and then hit me for 7. I think that when we're stuck in a top deck war like this, Argyon kind of has the advantage because I can only spawn a bunch of small guys, and if he's got one really big guy, then it's pretty trouble for me. But oh god, Dawn's Eye, that's rough. Yeah, I think he's got me. There's nothing in this deck that can really deal with this. You repair all of your artifacts to full durability, but now he has Force Field, so he's really got like the Weapon R thing going on. I have to replace the Hailstone Golem there. I was looking for maybe Ritual Banishing or Soul Shatter Pact, so I can take out the Grove Line and maybe Kite for another turn. And I'm guaranteed to get a spawn here. Alright, cool. Actually, he can just step up, kill this Wraithling, and then slay me with the Grove Lion. So he'll probably see that. Or Surge. Yeah, he sees it. Well played. So I should have left the Jaxi alive. That was a mistake on my part. Stepping up like that. Yeah, but Grove Lion and Dawn's Eye, really rough combo to deal with. And we didn't get our setup. So perhaps making room for a third Blood Moon Priestess would be proper. And making room for the Soul Shatter Pact. Excuse me, I keep saying Soul Shatter Pact because I don't play Abyssian. I do have to apologize. This is my least played faction. But what is it? What is it? Shadow Reflection. So I think Shadow Reflection is going to be a good addition to this deck. What would I cut, though? Because I sort of have, like, a good setup already. The Wraithling Swarm felt kind of bad. It's good. It's good as a turn 1 if you're going second, because then you get the dream opening. Yeah, I think the Shadow Reflection might help because I just sort of lack mid-game, right? Like, maybe replace the Dancing Blade and maybe a Healing Mystic. Healing Mystic isn't as good in Abyssian because you're going to be trading a lot of Wraithlings. So, I think putting in the Shadow Reflection just to get that burst damage, I think might be a little bit better. And then if we play the deck in a really aggressive style, that might help as well. I think that I was playing a bit too passively, banking on the Shadow Dancer Blood Moon Priestess combo to carry me. And again, third Blood Moon Priestess might be a good option as well. Maybe cut a Shadow Watcher for it. Let's see. What would I want to cut? Really hard cuts, honestly. Yeah, I think we cut a Shadow Watcher. And we'll craft that third Blood Moon Priestess and see how it goes. And we are going to play one more game. This episode's going to be a bit long, because right now we're already at 36 minutes. But because we're going to be playing this next match, hopefully a little bit aggressively, maybe with a bit more success. Ooh, especially against Vanar. Yeah, this is going to be a slugfest. We'll try to not make this so long. Alright, so there's the Shadow Dancer. And I think I'm just going to hold on to that like the Dickens. We get the Gloom Chaser open up for us. And then we've got Follow up here. Now, because the Gloom Chaser spawns a Wraithling, what we can actually do is summon it here, and then if you get a Wraithling on any of these tiles, then you have access to the mana. So I think that that's actually the proper way to go. Great. We get more forward positioning, and because there's a chance if you summon the Gloom Chaser diagonally, like a standard 2-drop, that the Wraithling will spawn on the mana, and if you don't have another 1-drop, like maybe a Blood Tier Alchemist or something to deal with that, then it just becomes really problematic. You know, you waste a mana, you waste your chance to ramp up to 4. So now, I'm going to have the Gloom Chaser move forward, move up here. And I think I'm actually going to get the Hailstone Golem out there. And kill this Femal War Master. Because it dies and then reappears, it is pretty good for getting some value out of your opponent. Yeah, we're lacking in spells, but if I play all of these minions and bodies correctly, we can get a lot of value out of them. Vanar is a pretty tricky matchup in general because they have a lot of single target removal. Yeah, see, so there's Aspect of the Fox. So, playing in a more defensive style kind of benefits this matchup a bit more, I think, because you want to bait out some of that removal first, wait for them to screw up a little bit, and then drop some stuff that they can't deal with, or maybe so many threats that they can't deal with it. Wow! So that Hailstone Golem just got Chromatic Cold and Aspect of the Fox. Yeah, that's rad. So we are going to... Yeah, I guess we'll just go up to 5. So that we can play the Shadow Spawn. Hopefully not into... We'll move this Wraithling out of the way of Warbird, which is coming up next turn. In this matchup, you want to keep an eye on Warbird to try to save your Wraithlings as much as you can. We're going to play the Jaxi, and since we don't have anything to buff this turn, we'll just Healing Mystic ourselves. Fae is very aggressive in general, so you want to keep that HP up. They do have that free 2 damage ping every other turn. Ephemeral Shroud. That's a fair trade. 2 mana to make sure I don't have a ranged unit. But you can see, because he had to make that really ridiculous play on the Hailstone Golem, he's starting to run out of cards. So I think, especially since I have this Wraithling back here, or back here, I can move it and play the Shadow Dancer in a really defensive spot. And then we can start cashing in here. Blood Moon Priestess would really make this this play solid. Really solid. Oh my god. He's being so liberal with his removal, right? Chromatic Cold, you don't want to just use the 2 damage to finish off small bodies. The Dispel is so worth it. And if you can hold on to it, sometimes you find other ways, right? You'll find other workarounds to deal with big threats. And then you can just use the 2 damage from Chromatic Cold to go face and then finish off your opponent. You get a little bit of extra burst out of it that they might not expect. So by him doing that, I can get the Shadow Dancer set up, and then it's just... man, it's just going to go from there. Yeah, so we'll play it down here so that we can get these Wraithlings moved to where they need to be. And so now I can hit him. Oops. Oh wait, no, the Warbird's not coming up. I was going to say I accidentally moved and screwed over that Wraithling. Oh god, there's the Blood Moon Priestess. Hailstone Prison, that's fine. Because it's definitely a huge tempo loss because he did it to my 5-drop, but at least he didn't kill it or dispel it. So that's not terrible. Dang. So I guess what I can do here is just develop the Primus Shield Master and the Jaxi. We're gonna move so that this Wraithling can stay alive. And yeah, we'll just keep him there so we have the extra body. Next turn, we're going to go up to 7 mana, so we can play the Blood Moon Priestess and the Saber-Spine Tiger. Frankly, the draws went a lot better for us this game, because we got the Blood Moon Priestess and the Shadow Dancer, whereas last game, I don't even think we saw them, right? Against that Lionar player, so that's just variance. Oh my god, there's the 3rd Chromatic Cold. Pardon me. Really solid. The Frostfire allows the Crystal Cloaker to survive that trade. So now I have to find a way to deal with it. But I do, because I have the Saber-Spine Tiger. But, let me see here. He's down to 12. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So not quite enough. I could even go with the Shadow Dancer again and then get some extra pings here, but it's like he's already used so much removal, I know that he wouldn't be able to deal with it. This one just nets me more Wraithlings in the long run, so I think that we're going to go with that. And I guess we leave this Wraithling here for good luck. Just a little bit of subtle body blocking. He's down to 1 card in hand. Like I said, he was really liberal with his removal and his use of those Chromatic Colds. So now he doesn't have anything left to deal with my team. And the last card in his hand was Aspect of the Fox. So now I get to develop the Shadow Dancer and then I think kill him. That's a ping. And I hit him. That's a ping. I can even move this Mini-Jax down into melee range if I want, and then get an extra ping off of the Shadow Dancer. But you see, it's healing me, and then that just takes me further out of the reach of the Vanar General. But I think I'd like to chalk this one up to variance on his part, because even though he was really loose with his removal, that's basically all he drew. The only minions he played were the Crystal Cloaker and the Ephemeral War Master, I think. And everything else was just spells dealing with what I was putting out. So this might be... see, so he gets the ping and he has to take another damage. Having a Shadow Dancer on the board basically gives all of your Wraithlings +1 attack, right? Because they take that last little bit of damage. Well played. Bit of a stylish ending here. Get the 2 pings off the Ritual Banishing. Okay, but this episode's gone on pretty long. That's usually how Abyssian plays. I think adding that 3rd Blood Moon Priestess was actually correct, along with the Shadow Reflections. So a bit of a mistake on my part, not going with my gut, my original plans for this deck. So a little bit extra spirit thrown in there. I've still got plenty of stuff that I need to disenchant, some orbs I need to open, so we're still going to be good for the next handful of episodes. And I'll see you then for Budget Hero. You have a good one.